So thank you for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but hey, look, you decided to be right here with us, and I'm glad you're here. Now, I'm also glad that someone else is here, and that's Mr. Ronald Earl Wilsher. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ronalds Fontenot the third.
Yes, sir.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today.
I feel the same. You know, first of all, it's an honor to be seen anywhere, right? Because I'd rather be seen than viewed. First of all, but it's a little bit sweeter when I can be here with you and the rest of my folks who are out here in my network that are jumping on this broadcast. Whether you are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, we're glad you're here. We're going to have a little fun in the process. We're going to make this a learning experience. I am seeing something that's concerning me just a little bit, though, Ronald. I just have to tell you, it gives me a red signal on my stream. So hopefully that turns its way around, and we're not in that red very, very long here. I hope that this. Oh wow, it's a little scary. Let me just check my internet here. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. If you're just watching us, sit tight here. Don't go anywhere. I'm just making sure that our internet doesn't get totally knocked out here. And Joe, on your end, can you verify that we're actually online, and also if you can verify that we didn't get cut out, because I just did something that could be detrimental. However, I got green. It's green again. I love seeing green.
Whatever you did worked, huh?
Yeah, at least temporarily, right? So hopefully we didn't lose LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. Hopefully you're still here with us. I've got a green light now, which is great because it goes green, yellow, and red if the internet speed kind of slows down. So this is all about growth, Ronald. This is Growth Monday. And we want to talk about concepts that's going to help us grow and get to the next level, whether it's in our career or our business. And we're going to be looking at some of your comments as they come in. If they're related to business or if they're related to your career, we want to help you with either one. I can just tell you, just from my experience with Ronald, he has a very unique perspective. He can kind of make you think differently and just a little bit different perspective, a little bit different way to help you, I think, get your message out a little bit better. And Ronald, if you would, give us I want to hear your best one or two tips on what we could do right now to extend our personal brand as a person, whether it's in our career or our business. But talk about the person. How can we expand our reach?
Well, first of all, what you can do, Rawlis, and it's taken me a while to learn this, but I have in my book, Miscellaneous Ramblings from My Slightly Deranged Mind, these little things I made up. Develop the courage to be who you are, and you'll become your own competitive advantage. I think one of the big mistakes that people make all the time is they go and they try to be somebody that they're not. And I don't know if you've ever been around, I'm sure you have somebody that's trying too hard. They're trying to put on this, what the sales manager or the sales trainer said they should be. And I think once you get to where you're comfortable with who you are and you understand it's all about you first, right? So when you get comfortable with who you are, you automatically increase your attraction power. Does that make sense?
It does. I think you were talking about me at the beginning. You're talking about somebody trying to pretend to be someone or not, just following what the sales manager said. I think I've done that before.
Hey, Rollins.
Yeah, I think we've all been guilty.
Yeah. What'd you say, Joe?
Oh, I think we're having issues with LinkedIn. Restream says we're online, but it's not popping up.
But it's going to work out great this time. We did it before. That was our practice run. So those of you who are just signing in, if you missed our practice run, it was fun, but we're glad you're here. If you want to be in a place where you can have a little fun and then learn something at the same time about growing your business or growing your career, you're in the right place. We're glad you're here with us. Thank you for being here. And I also want to thank my guest. I'm really excited about my guest. I've been knowing Ronald for over 10 years, about a decade or so. And have enjoyed any time I've got a chance to spend with Ronald. He's got a great perspective I think you guys are going to enjoy. So welcome to the show, Ronald Earl Wilsher.
Thank you, Mr. Ronalds Fontenot III. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yes. And like I was saying earlier, it's better to be seen anywhere than to be viewed. So I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad you're here.
That sounds...
What's that?
I said that sounds true, unless it's your time. And if it's your time, that's your time, right? So...
Well, I don't know about that. I don't want my time to be any time. I want to just keep on living. Okay. I don't even want to think about it. Okay. So Ronald, you know what? I want to get folks started off in the right way. And folks, if you're signing in now, let us know where you're signing in from. Tell us what kind of business you're in or what you're trying to do right now. And we'd love to know that. Put it in the comments and let us know if you want to know more advice when it comes to our personal brand or our company brand. We're going to talk about a little bit of both. Ronald, let's start off with the personal branding. Just if we're trying to expand our own reach and just attract more visibility to our own personal brand, whether it's to grow our career or our business, what's one of your top one or two suggestions on that?
Suggestion always give Ronalds to everybody to be who you are. Comfortable in your own skin. And there's so many people out there that they get really, really confused because they get all these different tips and trainings from all these different people. You talk to 5 experts, right? And you get 7 different opinions and everybody gets confused.
Yes.
Well, I tell people you were born with everything you need to possess everything you desire. And most people don't understand that because they're listening to way too many people. So one of the things that if you want people to give you money, if you want to increase your attraction power, you got to simplify everything you do down to kindergarten clear. I have a book that I wrote, Miscellaneous Ramblings from a Slightly Deranged Mind, and it has simple and fun is better than complicated and boring. And I think this last little, several months we've been through, a lot of changes going on, and I think simplify. If you can go simplify people's life, they're going to give you money, and also throw in a lot of fun, And so I think one of the best things you can do is get your mind right. It all starts in your head, right? So the first thing that I can tell you to do is to get comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. Because if you're not comfortable, if you don't like it, how do you expect me to like it, right? So that's the first thing I could tell you. Now, as far as some marketing things I could tell you, you know me, Ronalds, I've always, I was just thinking back the other day when we met, it was about 10 years ago, and it was in some fancy hotel, I think. I don't remember, honestly, where it was, somewhere downtown. And but I always remembered you because your presence, you were nice to me, and I have in my book, attraction is not a choice, right? So even though we haven't stayed in real close contact over the years, every time I think of Ronalds Fontenot, every time I think of when we met, it was a pleasant experience. And so I guess to answer your question is get everything in your life down to kindergarten clear and get clear on what you're doing and what you want to offer people and how you want to add value. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense. Absolute sense. There's a few things I want to unpack from what you just said. There's a lot of cool stuff. And first of all, I do remember very well one of the first times we had a conversation. And I remember that conversation was around 2010. And this is when iPhones, I only been on the market for a couple of years, and you were just a big proponent of the iPhones. I remember that conversation vividly when you were talking about how easy it was to use, and that's part of the appeal of using that product. But here I am 10 years later hearing you share a very similar message, which I think is very valid today, just as much as it was 10 years ago, that we should simplify things. Like you said, kindergarten level. I love that because we're getting bombarded with so much information right now, and it's so confusing. If we're adding to the confusion, we're actually taking away. We're not giving.
And you're right, Ronalds, and I have in my book, genius is the ability to make the complicated simple. See, people don't need to know everything you know. They just need to know that you know what they don't know that will take care of their issue and add some quality to their life, right? So I think one of the things we do when we meet people, we try to get them, out on the date before we even buy them the first drink, I had a lady, it's funny, I know LinkedIn is your method of your platform of choice. There's a lady that sent me something on LinkedIn, and I accepted it, and she immediately started trying to sell me something. And I replied back to her, you didn't even buy me a drink before you invited me to your room. And she went, good point. That's all she said. And so I think what happens, Rawless, is we get up and we're always in the sales mode, right?
Yeah.
We're always in the sales mode, right? I think if we get out of the sales mode, get into the fun mode, right? Relax a little, right? And once you do that, then you become, I have a saying in my book, it said, attraction is not a choice. Attraction is not a choice. So you're one of the people, have you ever met somebody that as soon as you meet, you just like them, right?
Yeah.
You just like them.
Yeah.
Well, you were that way. I just remember you being so cordial and so cool and just, and it made an impression on me. See, but most people are not like that. They're always trying to sell you something just right from the very beginning. It's like, think about this, Rawless. If you don't like me, does it really matter what logo's on my card? I mean, if you don't like me, does it matter what I sell? Right? But think about this. If you like me, does it really matter what logo's on my card? You don't even have to have a card. Right?
Yeah,
and we get sort of bogged down in all these things that these people tell us that we should do, that we get totally confused. And when we get confused, what do? We stop.
Yeah, we stop. We don't take action.
Well, if you know who Ronalds is, right? He says action alone will determine your value in the marketplace. So what you got to do, and we'll kind of unfold this as we go into this a little more, is what you got to do is you got to set you up a system that two things. Number one is based on your personality, and it has to be simple, because if it's not, you're not going to continue to do it and be consistent with it, right? So the number one thing is get comfortable with who you are, and everybody lives their life off. They live it in the chase and convince mode. I have on the back of my book, attract and engage is better than chase and convince.
I love that.
They live it in convince mode, right?
Yeah.
Get out of that and get into the attract and engage mode, right? I coined this phrase 10 years ago. Engagement is a new promotion, but it says return on influence is the new ROI, right? And so when you're talking about influencers, you mentioned a while ago, I think it was another person, some lady out there, every time she posts something on Instagram, she gets like $2 million. That's called influence, right? Well, here's the thing, Rawless, and you're going to figure out real quick. I get excited over this stuff that I talk about because I see it's not, I get too complicated. We make everything way too complicated, okay? So I've studied all these top performers, right? I've studied them all. They all say basically the same thing, just in a little different way.
Right.
So what I've done, and we'll talk about this as we go through this, I've simplified everything down to kindergarten clear and made it relevant to you and who you are and what you're good at. So maybe we'll talk about that as we go in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't know if I'm not able to see the comments on my little stream thing here, Joe. So if any comments come up, let me know as they do, and we'll continue with that.
Yes. So the chat's not working, but we do have a few people who've stopped by and said hello. So we have Roy Zimmerhansel.
Hi, Roy.
From the UK. And we have Laura Calderon.
Oh, Laura.
Well.
Welcome.
And then we have Amy. I don't want to butcher her last name, but it's Dukovic.
Okay, very good, Amy. Thank you. Excellent. Very good. Okay, so sorry about our chat not working, guys. For whatever reason, it's not showing up on the screen. Is it working on your side at all, Joe?
No, it's not.
Okay,
working.
It's not working at all. Okay, so it's not just me. That's reassuring. Okay, so let's go back to what we were talking about, Ronald, because the chase and convince versus attract and engage. I love that. Like if you go to a doctor and the doctor said, what are your symptoms right now? You tell them what your symptoms are. So give me some symptoms of chase and convince type behavior. Give me some examples of what that looks like.
I work with a lot of real estate agents. Okay, here's the symptom. Hey, did I tell you I'm a realtor? Hey, did I tell you I'm a realtor? Did I tell you I'm a realtor? It says right on my. Did I tell you I'm a realtor? Right. That's being in the chase and desperation mode. And see, here's the thing, Rawless. I don't study. I think you got, used to be when I was growing up, money was number one, right? Then there was time, and then there was health, right? That was my priorities, right? Well, as I've migrated deeper in the lifespan, maybe some of our listeners can relate to this. Now, guess what's number one? Health. Okay. Number two is time. Money slipped all the way down there to third all of a sudden. Right?
Health and time.
So
Wow.
here's the thing, right? If you're good at what you do and you're confident in it, do you have to go and chase somebody and convince them of that? No. Well, what you do, I'm going to say something that you may find surprising,
Okay.
but I don't think you have to be that good at what you do to be successful. I mean, if you are good, you show up on time, you do things you're going to say you're going to do and all that ain't going to hurt you. But one of the things I think is you got to get out of the crowd where people can see you, right? Fame and blame. Don't add to the noise, right?
Yeah.
Go and look at some of these influencers online. I bet you'd be hard pressed to pile up any talent, appreciable talent anywhere, right? But what it is, they've taken themselves out of the crowd where people can see them, right? And so you start understanding that, it kind of helps you, right? But it all boils down to that simplicity thing we were talking about, right? And so when I started understanding this and started realizing that attraction's not a choice, right? When I get out there and I start being who I am, I'm going to automatically attract the very people that I want to do business with, or the people that I want to have talk about me, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about the system that I've developed here shortly. And it's very simple, as you can imagine, but it's all about, I'm telling you, you're going to hear me say this a lot. It's about being comfortable with who you are and not living your life in the reactive mode. You're going to live it in the proactive mode.
Yeah.
Right? Big difference.
You know, you just hit on something that resonated with me when you said it's not a choice. And about how you don't even have to be that great. Because if I think about some of the singers that are out, entertainers that are out there, you have some, their voice is okay, but it's not like out of this world, but they're extremely popular. But then you may have some others who have just a spectacular voice, but they can't even hardly get a recording deal. And so that kind of goes into what you're saying. And they weren't effective enough in standing out from the crowd, like what you're saying, separating themselves. So that's important.
But what is you're right. You can have $100 million in the bank in the middle of Beverly Hills in your name, but if you don't know about it, just like not having it, right? So what you have to understand and do is go out there and start being who you are and starting conversations. I have in my book the conversations that we have with other people and with ourselves determine everything in life that we get, right? So if you're not making the money you want to make, you're not starting enough conversations, right? So when I study all these successful people, I have success leaves clues for people that choose to pay attention. If you do certain things in a certain way, you'll get a certain result almost 100% of the time. But most people, they don't, like I say, they listen to way too many people, right? And they get confused and they stop. Yes. You ever heard of Ogmandino?
Yes, I have. Uh-huh.
He has a quote. It says, "Action alone will determine your value in the marketplace," right? You can correct something, you can't correct nothing. So here as humans, what we try to do is we try to get all our little ducks in a row before we ever do anything. Right?
Yes.
That ain't how it works. Go to a park. Next time you're at a park and you see a little mama duck with all her little ducklings, if she gets ready to go somewhere, what does she do? She go over and start lining all the little ducks in her. Okay, you stay here, you stay here, you stay. No, you know what she does? She takes off. And guess what happens to all those ducks? They start lining up, following her, right? So I think one of the big things that we worry about, I made a meme the other day, and it'll be in the second edition of my book. The fact that you're worried, let me see how it goes now. Hang on a second. What people say about you is not what you should be worried about. The fact that they're not saying things about you is what you should be worried about. Right?
Yes, right. Yeah.
They don't even know you exist, right? Exactly. And so think about this for a second, right? I have in my book, I really don't care what people say about me, just as long as they say something. Just talk about me.
Right. I
mean, you've heard it before. We've all heard it. Bad press is better than no press. Well, I'd prefer not bad press, but it's better than them not even talking about me. You can have the best talent and be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows it, it's no good. See, and so what we're talking about a while ago about the things that I talk about, your system. Everybody focuses on results, right? Results are
Hmm.
important, but they're not what you should be focusing on. You should be focusing on, Wallace, you know that, this leverage. You got to have, if you're ever going to create wealth, you must have some type of leverage.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at all these guys online that I follow that are making anywhere from $500,000 to several $1,000,000 a month, it's not that their information is so great. It's good. It's not bad.
Right.
But it's all about the system that allows them to leverage their intellectual capital and their personal brand equity 7 days a week, 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
to where it attracts only the people that are ready, willing, and able to buy. All the other people, they never even sit down with, right? So think about this. What if you only sit down with people that were ready to give you money? What would that do to your paycheck?
Well, I think
I'm here
it'd
to
make it bigger.
increase, right?
Exactly.
So when you start understanding it's all in that system, don't concentrate on results. Develop the discipline to work the system and trust the process. The
Yeah.
result will amaze you.
I like that. Okay, so I want you to walk us through your system, but before you do that, Joe, do we have anything else? I want to acknowledge any comments we have before I move on.
Yes. So we have Dr. Rosina Malaska.
Hi, Dr. Malaska.
Hello as well. And then we also have Patty Witt, who's also joining us.
Oh, we love Patty.
Hey, y'all.
All right, awesome. Okay, so as we go along with this, I want to give me an idea of your system. I know it's a book, so I'd have to probably read the book to get the whole thing. But give me like a little encapsulated version of this system.
I'll give you, and everybody that wants to listen, because everybody, like we were talking a while ago, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. Nobody just want to go right now. I mean, Ronnie, I can make all this money, but I have to get off my couch. I actually have to do something. yeah, you have to do something, but it's worth it, right?
Right.
And so here's the thing that I always tell people. First of all, okay, there's three things, and I'm going to give everybody, if you want, I'm going to put a link to my hooker book. Did I tell you about that one, Rollis?
No, don't tell me about it. What you got?
Okay, we're gonna give that link out. It's titled "Sell Like a Hooker, Sleep Like a Baby." It's my other book.
Oh my goodness!
And it chronicles and tells you step by step this system. Okay, and I'm telling you guys, you're probably making all this too hard. You're probably making it too complicated. So we're gonna walk through, and we're gonna give you some steps that you can take today to start attracting people to you that want to give you money. Okay. And so one of the things that I always tell people is register your name as a .com, set you up a landing page or forward it to your LinkedIn profile, whatever, and then start you some kind of a list. You must have a list, okay? Whether it's email, whether it's Facebook Messenger, whether it's LinkedIn, whatever. You must have a way that once you start conversations, you got to keep the conversation going. Think about this, Rollis. What if we hadn't stayed in contact? Or if I hadn't picked up the phone a couple of months ago and called you, would we be talking right now?
No.
Probably not, right? You've got to keep the conversation going as long as possible, right?
Yeah.
I had a lady that hired me the other day that had been to one of my classes 3 years ago, but I'd stayed in contact with her through email. And 3 years later, it was time for her to give me some money. So think about it. What if I hadn't stayed in contact? Would I ever cash that check? No way. So what's happening, everybody goes out there. I always have this. Here's another little deal for you, a little nugget. Show up, stay in touch. Show up, stay in touch. Most people don't show up.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that just show up.
We got to write those down. Joe, can we put that in a comment? So show up and stay in touch. I like that.
Simple. See? Now, here's the thing, Rollis. We showed up today, right? Now, all the people that want to stay in touch with me, I'm going to give you a way you can stay in touch with me. Now, think about this. Of the people that do show up, most don't, but of the ones that do show up, most of them don't stay in touch. You know how I know? Think about the last networking event or the last little gathering you went to. How many of those people contacted you back?
Very few.
Very few, right?
Very few.
So if you're showing up, staying in touch, you don't have nearly as much competition as you think you do. Okay? Because I always tell people the most important battle that you're ever going to win is the battle for your own mind.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It all starts right here, right? And what are people going to think about me? What are people going to think? No. The fact that people think about that ain't your problem. The problem is people ain't thinking about you.
Yeah.
So you need to give them something to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you something else. Boring is not attractive. Boring is not attractive. Okay? So when you Mario Andretti, he said one time, he said, if you don't feel like you're about to lose control, you're not driving fast enough, right?
Oh,
so,
wow, I like that.
When you start understanding how this all works, well, let me go back to the very beginning. I said this earlier, I think. I don't remember. I'll say it again. You were born with everything you need to possess everything you desire. You were born with everything you need to possess everything you desire.
I like that. That was worth saying again.
I don't believe it. Well, I don't believe if you have a desire for something, Alice, I don't think that you would have that desire if God didn't give you the talent to possess it. But again, what is the problem? We start listening to all these people that have no clue what they're talking about, right? Yeah. And we get confused and we stop. So here's the thing that you have to understand. Most people spend their valuable time that they could never replace with people that don't want, don't need, and can't afford what they have.
Ooh, you know what? That's harsh, but it's true.
I'm just telling you, right? I'll give you a little background on me. I used to sell widgets, Rollins. And I don't know if I was doing it when I met you. I don't remember. They were called new homes.
Okay. Wait a second. You said widgets.
Little widgets. I'll sell widgets, right?
Uh-huh. But it wasn't widgets.
It was called a new home.
Yeah,
right?
It was your real realtor when I met you. Yeah.
Well, actually, I wasn't a realtor. I just sold new homes. Right?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So that's another.
Okay, thank you.
It's in real estate. It's in real estate. It is a big difference, though, but it is real estate. So think about this for a second. I sold, and this was 15, 16 years ago, I sold in the 350 to 550 range, okay? 15, 16 years ago. So you can do the math and see what those houses were today. They're very nice houses, okay?
Yes.
So let's say I have somebody walk in and I say, Mr. Fontenot, how much you looking to spend on a house today? Well, we did all the numbers, and I think about 200,000 is our budget. Well, we start at 350. So what do? I spend the next 2 hours trying to talk you up? No. Okay. Hey, so nice to meet you. I tell you what, water in the fridge. If you need me, I'll be in my office. I don't waste my time with people. I mean, it's kind of like we spend most of our life trying to sell filet mignon to vegetarians.
Yeah.
I had this guy come up to me and says, man, Ronnie, this will change your life. Whatever he was offering, I said, well, I got a new Corvette. I have this nice house. I married this hot blonde. This was my former life. I'm like, I don't really want to change my life. And you're like, okay. So you think about it. See, so the whole thing is people come up to me all the time, Rollis, and they go, Ronnie, you never told me what you do for a living. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I didn't. Because I ain't figured out if we like each other or not, right? We got to figure that out first, right?
Yeah.
And if we do like each other, right, then maybe we can talk. If not, then we probably don't need to be wasting each other's time, right?
Time is valuable. You said it earlier. Health and time.
That you can't replace it, Rollins. So think about this. What if you only spent your time with people that were ready, willing, and able to either buy from you or become a fan where they talk about you? I mean, what would that do to your life, to your paycheck, to your net worth? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, you relax, right? It's like I had my book the other day, and this lady came up to it. Y'all see that?
Sort of, yeah.
Well, I'll put a link to it.
Yeah, it's because of the virtual background thing. And Joe, Joe, look up the link. Is it on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay,
well, if you go to ronaldwilsher.com and just click on my book, it'll bring it.
Okay. Well, she'll put an ad. She'll put a link in there. So keep going.
And so I'm sitting there at this restaurant, and this lady comes up and saw one of my books. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and she started looking at it, and she said, how much is it? I said, it's $20, or you can go to Amazon, it's $25. I'll save you $5. Let's give you an autograph, right? She goes, $20? I said, give me that book. You can't afford my book. I didn't know who she was. Guess what she did? She pulled it back from me and says, yes, I can. Here's $20. So So I autographed it for her and she left, right? So here's the thing, guys, that we don't understand, right? We're out there trying to be all things to all people. Not the way you do it. Ain't the way you do it, right? Figure out what you do, what you have to offer, how you can have value to the planet.
Yeah.
Go and start being who you are, and you'll attract the very people that you want to do business with, or people that will start talking about you. That's another thing that people don't get, right? Ronnie, I met somebody today. They really need you. They need you a lot. Well, thank you. I'll let you know how it goes. A lot of these people never bought anything from me, but they're always talking about me, sending me people.
Yeah.
Right? But what if I'd have went in there, Rollis, and come something right up front and be now, right? Does that make any sense?
It does, but Ronald, you're frozen. Okay, there we go. It's kind of an internet issue. That's okay. We're working with it. All right. So I got a question for you, Ronald. This is a very important question.
Did you pay your internet bill, Rollis?
Huh?
Okay.
Okay. I got a question.
Did you pay your interweb service?
Oh, mine's working great right now. I think on your end you got a little bit of a slowness on your on the video here.
Okay.
You kind of come in and out. That's all right though. It's all good. Okay. So let me ask you a question here. This is a very important question. Would you rather be stared at all the time or be the butt of jokes all the time?
It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm okay if you look at me, or if I can get somebody a good laugh, I'm ready to offer myself up.
So if you had to choose which one you want, you had to choose one.
Be stared at.
Be stared at. Why?
Yeah. Well, because like I say, I'm confident in who I am, right? And I'm not really, I learned this from my dad, right? There was something about him that if you ever met him, you just automatically like him, you know, or you didn't. One of the two, right?
Right.
But attraction being not a choice. If you're comfortable with, the more comfortable you are with yourself, the less intimidated you'll be with everybody else, right? So when you go out there and people are saying bad things about you, it says more about them than it says about you, right? So does that make sense?
It does. I like it. This is good. Okay, let me give you another one. Would you rather be lost where there are no street signs to point the way, or no people to ask? Which one would you rather?
No street signs, because I like people.
Okay, see, I knew you were going to say that in the comments. Tell me in the comments what you guys think in the comments. Which one would you rather? No street signs or no people to ask? I'll be interested to see what people say on that. Okay, so Ronald, tell me this. If I have been in the habit of chasing and convincing, literally my whole career, that's how my sales manager taught me to sell, and that's how I've been used to selling. And at the same time, I got these bills I got to pay and all this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to think about what are people who are watching thinking. This is what they're thinking. I got these bills to pay. I got these revenue targets to hit. How do I do what you're saying without chasing and convincing, but still feel like I'm making progress towards my goal? Give me a couple of steps on that,
Go
please.
talk to the people.
Uh-oh, I lost you. You there? Hello? Uh-oh. See, we had that perfect point. We were right there. Okay, I think I got my little chat line up here. I think maybe Joe's trying to tell me something here. Let's see. Okay. So maybe we can get him to go and come back. I wonder if that'll help.
Yeah, we might try that.
Yeah. So Ron, I don't know if you can hear us, but maybe you can jump off and jump back on. Because we're just totally, I love the points he's hitting. So just if you're just now jumping in, guys, thanks for being here. He hit on some really good points. One of the things he said that I thought that was impactful for me is that we spend a lot of time chasing and convincing, and that's what we're talking about right now versus attracting and engage, which I love that point. And Ronald was just about to explain, if you were like me, sometimes we get stuck in chase and convince because that's just all we know. And that's what we're used to, and we got bills to pay and all that kind of stuff. We got revenue targets to hit. How do we, Ronald, thanks for joining us back again. How do we get out of that mode and get into the attract and engage in a practical way? Give me some steps on that, please. Now you're muted. Sorry, you're muted. Let me have you unmute here.
What about now?
There we go. Got it. Go for it.
Okay, so you asked was how can I get out of the chase and convince mode, correct?
Yes. Because
What you do is you go out and you starting conversations with people. If they're cool, get them on your list. If they're not cool, go start a conversation with somebody else, right? Get out of the sales mode. That's desperate.
Got it.
Study humans,
Okay.
right? Humans, desperation's not attractive in any form. We're hardwired to resist it, right?
That's so
So
true.
just
That's
start
true.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how it works. Ask any female, right? Desperation, they can smell it 10 miles away, right? And so
Yeah.
what you do is you go out and start conversations. And then when they start asking you about what you do, maybe you can tell them, right? And you just start the conversation. But the key is to get them on some kind of a list if they're cool. Okay. And one of my lists I'm using now, I have my email. I don't use it as much, but I also have now something, it's a texting platform. It's my Way Cool Friends list on a texting platform. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I like it. Tell us about it. What kind of text? What is it called? This texting platform.
What it is, I don't like group text, Rollis. I never have. I think
Right.
the only group text I ever sent was my brother and my mother and my sister was on it. It's the only one I ever sent in my life, and I've had one 10 years, the iPhone. This here is basically your CRM, like MailChimp or Constant Contact, one of those, but it's on a texting platform. And instead of an email address, it uses a phone number, okay? And so it's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my life, and I know cool, okay? If you go to iknowcool.com, you'll see what I'm talking about, KEWL. So what I do is everywhere I go, and I'll give you all that before we end today,
Okay.
is I'll give you all a chance to get on my Way Cool Friends list. Now, what is the only requirement, would you think, Rollis, to get on my Way Cool Friends list?
That they like you and you like them?
You got to be cool.
Oh, you got to be cool. Okay, all right.
Cool, right? That's it. If you're not cool, me and you, if you don't have a well-developed sense of humor, me and you ain't going to get along real long, right?
Right.
I mean, a sense of humor. Here's another thing, Rollis, very seriously, I'm telling you, I study people. And people with a sense of humor, I've learned, are generally very intelligent and they're very self-secure. And who do they hang around? Same people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people that don't have a sense of humor aren't. Those ain't my kind of people. I'm just telling you. You're going to need a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
And so when you start understanding that, so the whole key to this is once I get somebody on my Way Cool Friends list, I just start once or twice a week, start sending them out a text. What is it? It's one of my miscellaneous ramblings or something funny or something cute, right?
Right.
Because all I'm trying to do is just keep my name and face in front of them, right?
Yep.
Get them to talk about it, right? And so when you start understanding how that works, let me know, and I'll let you know how you can get on it, Rollis, because I consider you a Way Cool friend, and I know you. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I've received, I remember one time, it was earlier this year, you had a series where you were out in the pasture somewhere, out near a fence or something somewhere, and you're just kind of talking into the camera. And I don't remember what you were talking about, but I enjoyed watching a few of those. And that also is a lesson for those who are watching. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, because literally you're just like out in the middle of a pasture just talking. You remember? You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
Here's the thing. What, Ron? I stopped. Yeah, absolutely. It was about 3 weeks ago. I stopped because I'm kind of revamping.
Right.
But I said the Lord's Prayer for 252 days in a row. And I stopped it, but I would just come on, click live, and just say the Lord's Prayer and then talk for a little while. That's all I do. And I have people in the last 3 or 4 weeks since I stopped it. When are you going to start that again? When are you going to start that again? So that's the other thing, the point, Rollis, that you bring up. Everybody thinks everything has to be cut and dried. It has to be so professional. It has to be all that. That ain't, there's a place for that, right, I think. But most of the time, you don't need that, right? Authenticity is what attracts people, right?
Yeah.
So if they can see you're being authentic, I don't know if y'all remember, I used to hang out with this amazing skinny blonde for many years. And when we first started doing video, every time we'd mess up, she'd want to start over. I'm like, no, keep going. I said, well, come on,
Kathy
man.
Wheat, right?
That's got more. Yeah, they got more views than anything else we did, right? So when you start understanding, see, Action's not a choice. You're being who you are, right? And so here's the other thing, Ross, you have to understand. There's going to be people out there like you no matter what you do. And there's going to be people out there that don't like you no matter what you do, right?
That's true.
It's just, this is how it is,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And so develop the courage to be who you are, and you have this system set up and you're just being consistent with it, right? You're going to attract the very people that either buy something from you or they're going to start talking about you. That's just how it works.
I love that. So Joe, do we get some more responses on my Would You Rather questions that I asked around? Do they also answer it too?
Yes, we did.
Okay, give me some examples, please.
Okay. So Jamie Hartman said, be stared at all the time for sure. Patty said she'd rather be stared at. Let's see.
Anybody
I like this confidence.
Yeah, I like it.
Roy said people already stare at him.
Roy always comes up with something funny.
And Jennifer Kleinhen said no street signs. She's easy to talk to people. Plus, it's a good reason. Easy to talk to people. Plus, a good reason I'm lost.
That fits Jennifer's personality, Ronald. She like, you could tell she likes people. She likes talking with people and very, very friendly. So I can imagine she would do much better in that environment. I'm the same way, Ronald. I think I'd rather that too.
And
there's no doubt.
Patty said no people to ask because she has GPS.
She has what? Oh, GPS.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Here's the thing, Ross, that I always tell people, and especially now after this last year or so that we've been through, your people skills are way more valuable than your tech skills, okay? If you go and talk to anybody that's successful, right, spend time working on your people skills, right, and being who you are and understanding that, right? And once you get your system set up, what's the key? Consistency. So here I'm going to give you another one, Rollins. Consistency, simplicity, and see is much more important than intensity.
Ooh, consistency
and consistency.
Ooh, I like that one.
Is much more important than intensity, right? If you look at successful people, we tend to think, man, they're on all the time. They're on all the time.
Right,
no,
right.
They're not. They're not.
They're not.
They're just good at, like, what do they call it? Like I've never been real good at it, but taking a little piece of time and just being busy there and then go and doing something else.
Yeah.
But see, just be consistent with whatever you're doing. That's why the system is so important. It must be based on your personality, and it must be very simple so you'll remain consistent with it. Does that make sense?
It does. It reminds me of how performers are, because you see a performer, like let's say it's Madonna, for example. I saw her in an interview that when she's by herself, she just wants to hang around at the house and not really do anything. But you see her, if you saw her on stage, you think, boy, she must just be on, just turned on all the time and the switch is on 100% all the time. That's not the case. A lot of these performers, when they get off the stage, they're just off to themselves and hanging by themselves. And so you're right. It makes 100% sense to me.
And that's why, like I say, I've studied successful people. But here's the other thing that I think that we don't do, Rollins. We don't give ourselves enough credit, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that are really good, and because of this little interweb thing, there's no telling how many people you could attract if you set your system up properly that would want to buy and pay you for your intellectual capital.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about this. Okay, y'all know a little company named Uber, right?
Absolutely.
What was the thing that made Uber? It wasn't taxi cabs. It wasn't people wanting to ride in taxi cabs. It was a little idea that somebody had and an app that allowed us to track it. That's what created the company, right? And so when you understand now, you don't have to go to school and go to that building and then go and sell your intellectual capital to an employer if you don't want to. Now you can skip that middleman and go directly to the end user, because if you've got one of these little things here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have access to 5.4 billion people. Why? What are you doing with that access? See?
Right.
So you can take that intellectual capital and sell it directly to the end user, right? And so there's so many things you can do, but you've got to get the system set up properly, and you've got to get your mindset right. and not stop trying to be all things to all people. Another thing that I always tell people, Olive, is most people live their life trying to explain everything they do to everybody they meet. Why? Right? No is a complete sentence, and any explanation on your part is purely optional. Okay? And when you start understanding that, right? Now, there are exceptions to the rule. I mean, I have used to when I was selling houses, and even today, nope, can't do it. Next question. Right? You don't have now. If it's your mom or your son, maybe you have to go into a little more, or your spouse, right? But you don't have to live your life explaining everything you do to everybody you meet, right? That's a good way to go insane, right?
Yeah.
And so the other thing I talk about is, think about this, Rawls. We have 20 people, 30 people say something good about us, right? Then we have one person that says something negative. What do we think about for the next week and a half?
The negative comment. I do it. I've done it before many times.
And I've done it, but I got out of it, right? You know what I do now? I go into the back of my book and I read all those comments, those positive comments that I've got from people, right? That kind of helps me get out of that funk, right? Because, it was an epic moment for me, Rawls, when I realized there's some people out there that can't handle former loudmouth, long-haired hippies, right? Well, I'm still loudmouth, but not a hippie as much anymore. But that some people can't handle that. They're not intellectually equipped to handle it, right? So no matter what you do, some people are not going to like it, right? So stop trying to be all things to all people, right? There's some people out there that they just need whatever it is you have, they need it. But you know what you're doing? You're spending your time trying to convince people that don't need it.
Yes,
right?
Yes. That right there.
That makes sense.
That right there, I think if they at least took that from everything we've said, I think you and I have done some folks some good, is to not waste time with folks who don't want to buy from us. Just move on. So I love that. Okay, I got another question for you.
Oh, Rawls?
Sure.
We have a comment from Roy.
Okay, go ahead, Roy.
What about consistency, simplicity, and intensity?
Oh, yeah. Review that point again.
That one again. That's a good one.
Yeah, review that point again because sometimes your sound might not have been clear. So I want you to explain that point again because it was very good about consistency. Yes, please, go for it.
Simplicity and consistency is much more important than intensity. What do I mean by that? I mean, everybody thinks that all the people that are successful, we talked about a while ago, they're always on, always on, always on. No, they're not. You got to be on for certain limits, right? And then you stop. Forced action can never be sustained, right? So once you get your system set up, you let that system leverage your intellectual capital, and it does most of the work for you. Does that make sense?
100%. I love it. So hopefully I answer your question, Roy. Instead of being intense all the time, which is impossible for anybody to do, just work on being consistent. I love that. Okay, I have a question for you. Would you rather, this is crazy. All right. Would you rather, Ronald, have hair growing from your armpits that reaches down to your toes and that you cannot cut or trim in any way, or thighs that make a flapping noise when you walk? Which one would you rather?
Probably the thighs.
Why is that?
Because that would let people know that and there's something coming they need to listen to.
I love it. See, you turn that negative, put it into a positive. I love it.
Well, see, that's how I am. And I know people, and we all know people that are the opposite, right? It's like, get out of their presence, right? Do you remember a guy, Ross, one time, his name was A.L. Williams? He started a company called A.L. Williams, later turned into Prime America. You know what? He was a big deal. All you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough, right? And he said one of his goals in life was to go through a 24-hour period and not have one negative thought. See? So, as we talked about a while ago, we see successful people, all we see is success. We don't see the hell that a lot of them went through to get there, right? And so we start comparing ourselves to that, and we get all messed up. I have in my book, it says, the allure of comparison is the genesis of all delusion and confusion. You can't judge. Isn't that good, Ross?
Yeah.
Don't compare yourself to anybody. You don't know what they've been through. you might be better at it than they were. You may not have to toil as long, right?
Yeah.
So
you hit on something, Ronald. You hit on something. You reminded me of something. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you finish your statement? I'm sorry. Go ahead. All right. So one of the things that I think has been, and guys in the comments, tell me if you agree with me or not, or if you noticed this. But on Instagram, as much as I like the platform, the thing I have a problem with is that it focuses on the highlight reels of people's lives. You don't see reality. So you see all these pictures of everything going perfect in this person's life. You don't see any of the tough spots in their lives. And it gives you a false sense of reality. You're like, man, my life is not that great because I'm not going on all those trips, or I didn't get a chance to enjoy that food, or I didn't get a chance to have that relationship that person has. And we just get us thinking and all this stuff we shouldn't be thinking about. We're not getting the full deal. We're just getting the highlight reel online.
And Ronalds, you're so right. Like I say, then we start comparing, and then we get all confused and downhearted, and we stop, right?
Yeah.
I always said in my book, it says, it matters little how fast you go, as long as you're headed in the right direction and you don't stop, right? And so here's the thing. People always, well, how do you find your destiny? How do you find out what you're supposed to do? Well, number one, just decide. That's a good first step. Just decide. Secondly, what do you do when you goof off? That's probably would make you a lot of money, right? And so if you start thinking about that, see, one of the things I like to do, and I don't know if y'all notice this yet or not, I like to talk, right? And so one of my goals is you didn't notice that? You probably noticed that first night on that iPhone. I don't remember. Dude, now that you mentioned that, I kind of remember.
You remember that? I think we're at an Italian restaurant. We had a networking event at an Italian restaurant. You were showing me your phone and everything because I wasn't convinced yet. But the way you were just so animated and so into it. I was like, I got to look at this iPhone. This guy's pretty excited about this iPhone thing. Okay, keep going.
This is a great point you make. To me, sales, all it is a transfer of emotion, right? That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
If I can get you as excited about this as I am, you're probably going to pull out your checkbook, right? When I used to sell houses, people would always look at me and say, who built your house? And I'd look them straight in the eye and I'd say, who do you think? Well, I had one time where I called up the mother of my son and said, I got 2 people coming over. They want to look at our house. Okay. She always kept it immaculate anyway, right? So we get there. About an hour later, we leave. Guess how many houses I sold that day?
How many?
Well, at least 2. I actually wound up selling 5 that day, but I sold at least 2. Now, did I have to live in the house company I work for? No. But I can tell you it didn't hurt me any.
That's a good point. Yes, you're using your product that you're selling. I love it.
Well, here's the other thing. That people don't get, right, is we talk about how complicated people make things, but it's kind of like me trying to sell you a Chevy and I pull up driving a Ford.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
It's not, you don't have to, but here's the thing. The difference in winning and losing most of the time is in the little small details that most people deem unimportant. Oh, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It's not. Well, maybe on its own it's not, but there's a lot of little things that are, right? And so when you start understanding all those little things, showing up on time, right? If you're late, do I judge you? Yes.
Yeah.
If you're early, do I judge you? Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I'm judging you all the time. So there's so many things that you can do that will build the attraction for me, right? And most people don't get that. I always say, my 3 rules of negotiation. I just made this up. If you're selling stuff, always start high. You can always come down, right? If you're buying something, always offer low. You can always come up. But what's the third thing? Never be afraid to walk away.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Involved in it, right?
Yeah.
You can do that, right? I mean, I remember when I was selling their homes, I used to try to sell everything, and if they didn't buy a house from me, I'm like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Well, I realized there's some people, I would always ask them, get this, Ronalds, get this. Let's say you're going to buy a house from me, and you like that house, right? And
Yeah.
so I said, that's a great lot, Ronalds. I think this house is going to fit you and your family's need. I think it's a great choice for you. But I'll tell you what, if you've been next door, why don't you go check out that house next door? What would you think if I told you that?
I think you must not totally believe in your product. If you want to go next door.
Wrong.
Oh no! Oh, you believe in it so strongly that you're willing for me to go over there, and I'm going to know yours is better.
What are you going to do anyway if you're smart, right? You're going to do it anyway. Now, Ronalds, they were just as good or better builder than me. This is documented historical fact. I'm not making it up. They were just as good or better than me. I outsold them 45-5. Okay.
Wow.
45, right? But think about it. What happened, man? This guy's he's real confident.
That does. I didn't think about that before. That does show confidence. You're right. Wow. That is some nerve.
Confidence is very attractive. It has nothing to do with arrogance or disrespect.
Okay, guys, in the comments. Okay, hold on a second, Ronald. So in the comments, tell me what you guys thought about what he said. That's pretty strong. He told them, as he's trying to sell a house, go over there to that other builder and check their house out. I think it's pretty good. That's pretty amazing. All right, keep going.
Okay, now here's another thing that I did. Okay, and I'm telling you, this stuff works. See, because I don't study sales skills. I study why people buy stuff. I study how people think, right? And at the core level, it's really easy to predict because we all think the same, right? So another thing, let's say, Ronalds, that you're ready to buy, you're ready to go, but I can still tell you're a little nervous. So I said, Mr. Ronalds, this is a great house for you. I tell you again, right, all that, great lot, all that. I said, I can tell you're a little nervous. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this contract with your check here, and I'm going to put it in my drawer, okay? I want you to go home and sleep on this, okay? I want you to make the right decision, okay? If you still feel about this the same way in the morning as you do right now, call me, and I'll get the process going. I'll call for my runner, and we'll get it all going. If not, just let me know. Come pick up your check, or I'll shred it. It's much easier to get your money back from me than it is from corporate. Let me know, okay? I want you to be sure you're making the right decision. What do you think, Ronald?
That's powerful.
99% of the people did. You know what they did? They didn't wait till the next day. Within an hour, 30 minutes. Oh, no, Ronnie, we don't want to lose that lot. No, go ahead.
Oh.
Most people don't get it because here's the supreme knowledge that I had, Ronalds. If you don't buy, I'm going to have 3 more walk in the door, and I'm going to sell it to somebody because I know my product, I know me, I'm confident, right? And so people, what is confidence? If you meet a confident person, what is that? Confidence is attractive, see?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with arrogance or disrespect. It has everything to do with knowing who you are and why you're here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why would I have to try to convince you to buy something when I got 3 more that's begging me to give it to them, right?
That's true.
I cannot tell you, Ronalds, the people I show up with today that I sit down and they want to buy some consulting from, and they already got their checkbook out, right? Which one? Okay, yeah, take a check. Yeah, I'll take a check from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So it's confident.
I love it. So Ronald, give us a couple of quick tips because we're about to end this thing. Actually, one tip. We've got about 2 minutes left. Got one tip on how we can build the confidence. Give me something to work with here with my audience here, please.
How you can build your confidence is go back and review why you're in what you're doing and the whatever it is you're selling, right? There's always room for quality no matter what the economy is doing. So what you got to do is understand, I know what I'm doing. I'm better today than I've ever been in my life, right? I mean, give yourself credit. Give yourself, I do it a lot, man. I'm good at what I do. This is really good. That's why I wrote my book. So I got all this stuff. So I got all this stuff going on, right? Pretty soon, I'm going to be gone. You won't ever hear from me again. But no, hopefully not.
Well,
my whole goal.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Keep going.
Go ahead. My deal is I want it to be to where there's about 6 people in between me and whoever's wanting my attention, right? Here's the thing. What's success? Success is being able to spend your time ever how you want to spend it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you understand and you're comfortable with who you are, right? I only hang around people who are comfortable enough with who they are to let me be who I am. I'm only looking for people that look for me. Right?
I like this. Say that
That's
one more
it.
time. Say it one more time. I like that one.
I only hang around people who are comfortable enough with who they are to let me be who I am. I'm only
like
looking
that.
for people that are looking for me. That's it. See,
Yeah.
there's a ton of people out there looking for what you got, right? Why
Yeah.
would you have to spend your time trying to convince somebody that don't need it, don't want it, can't afford it?
And that's a whole lot easier than doing it the other way. I like it.
Once you start living your life in the attract and engage mode and you get out of the chase and convince mode, it will revolutionize every area of your life.
Wow. I'm liking this. Ronald, this has been awesome today. If someone wants your consulting services or wants to buy your book, what's the best place for them to go to get that information?
RonaldWilsher.com.
Okay.
And RonaldWilsher.com. I registered my name about 2 years before Al Gore invented the interweb. And so I had it for a while.
Yes.
Yep.
You know what?
What?
I want to thank you for something because you were the first person I came across that said you need to get your name reserved. In fact, you told me that 10 years ago. And guess what? I did it. I still have rawlsfinal.com to this day. So let me give you a little bit of a look thank you there. See? You see that thank you right there? That's for you.
I love that, Wallace. That made my day.
I appreciate you for
talking to you. But I tell you, that's the single most valuable piece of digital real estate you're ever going to own because that's your platform. See?
Yeah.
Now you can go any direction you want off that platform, right? No matter what you're doing.
Yes,
so
sir.
I want to thank you and Miss Joe. It's an honor to talk to you. If people want to contact me, 281-395-1000, they can text me or call me.
Okay.
That's the cell number.
Right.
And I'm honored and privileged, again, as I said in the beginning. I hope we said something that got people to think. You know, I'm not here to tell people what to think. I'm here to show you how to use your brain.
Yep. You did that. I know you did it for me. And if you did it for me, I'm sure you did it for somebody else in my audience. So thank you. I appreciate you spending the time today. And let's do a little quick pose for our audience, for our editors. I'm not hearing you. Are you there? You're frozen there. And guys, let us know what resonated with you that you saw today or heard today. What point resonated with you that you want to apply in the next week or in the next month? What is it that you heard that really, you know what, I like that point. I'm gonna use that point. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Joe, if you see anything, let me know. Looks like Ronald's stuck. He's stuck in internet land.
So
there he goes. Now you're back. Nope. Yeah, I thought he was back. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much. Very much. Appreciate you coming on today. We're going to have another live show tomorrow. Leah's going to be on. Got Live with Leah Talent Tuesday tomorrow at 2 p.m. So hope to see you there on HR Maximizer Media. I'll be back on Thursday. Look forward to seeing you then. And have a great rest of the day. Make it great. Okay, Joe, let me know when's okay to shut her down.
Got it. 1 second.
And if we got any comments, I can certainly look at those. Let me look at this. Oh yeah, Roy says great show. Thanks. All right, appreciate you, Roy. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, you're muted. You're muted, Ronald. Let me unmute you. So we just wrapped up, Ronald.
And what did Roy say? I hope he liked something we said.
Oh yeah, he liked it. And Mark said sales success equals transfer of emotion. He loved that point. Jamie says thank you, and Roy said great show. Thanks. They all loved it, so we appreciate it.
Thank you, Wallace. I'm honored, as I said in the beginning, to talk to you. I want to sit down and buy you a cup of coffee and get face to face with you.